Welcome to the Gig Sessions Lunchtime Talk. I'm Tina Terry. I'll be your host for today. And today we have JP Soars and Ann Harris. JP is a soaring high touring the world after releasing a new studio album last fall, Let Go of the Reins, produced by Tab Benoit of Benoit's Whiskey Bayou label. Soars has also been nominated for Blues Rock Artist of the Year in the 40th Annual Blues Music Awards, alongside blues music heavyweights Billy Gibbons, Eric Gales, Kenny Wayne Shepherd, and Tinsley Ellis, rounding out the blues rock category. Ann Harris is a singer, songwriter, violinist, recording artist, and actress based in Chicago, Illinois. She has independently produced and released 6 studio albums on her record label, Rugged Road Records. Welcome, JP, and welcome, Ann.
How you doing, Tina?
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for being here. And just so you guys know, JP is unable to be here for the moment live. He was having some issues with a outdated whatever, because none of us really know technology. We just use it. So hoping that we'll get him in here in maybe the next 10 minutes. Yeah. But for now, at least we can have the conversation.
Yeah, you can hear me.
Can hear you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to start with you, Ann Harris.
Okay.
You know, you're obviously very schooled in your musical craft. I mean, your talent is immense. But I'm just curious, are you also trained in dance?
It's so funny. I think I must have been a dancer in a couple of past lives. I did study dance when I was younger. I studied ballet for a number of years. When I was a little girl, I wanted to be a ballerina, a violinist, and a biologist.
Well, you kind of successfully have done that, because your garden would be your biology.
Yeah, right. I love dance and movement, and it's something that's very intuitive to me. So I did study it, through college, and I'm not currently in a dance class, but I think that the way I relate to music, and certainly the way I relate to the world and the way I interface with art, is very physical. It always has been my whole life.
And I told you the first time I saw you, I kind of had to pause for the cause, because it was so unique to one individual. But not knowing you, it took me a minute to be like, is that real? Because it was so much energy and so much life that, I zoned in on you, and then I started listening to you play. And that's just, not everybody has the gift of both. And I was curious if you had any of that dance training, because it's a very fluid, I don't know what they call that style of dance.
It's like I said, I studied ballet, modern dance, African dance, even a little bit of tap dancing. But what I do is not pure, and I hesitate to even call myself a dancer, because real dancers would be like, what are you doing? I feel like music moves me on a cellular level. It does to many people, and that gets expressed in different ways. And one of the more obvious ways it's expressed through me is physically. And I don't really think about what I'm doing. I don't plan what I'm going to do. I don't choreograph myself. I just am very blessed that I'm able to play with people that I love and respect and the music that they play, I'm lucky to be a part of. And part of my dancing is probably just a celebration of like, holy crap, I get to do this. You know, I'm so happy.
Well, I think that's why I chose you and JP together, because both of you are playing in so many multiple projects and still maintaining your own, that I can just only imagine, you know, you learn from others, and when you're in these multiple packages, you're gaining such a wealth of, I don't know if it's experience or revelations, or, you know, because Guy Davis is so different than JP Soars.
But
The
but
dynamics, you know, the
yeah,
dynamics
they're
between those two.
for sure. But I think what I focus on more are the commonalities. It's like it's the same approach I have to music. I can listen to Beethoven, and then I can listen to Guy Davis, and then I can listen to like, you know, Jack White. And in all of those artists, although they're expressing and things in a different way, and their life stories are different, so they're drawing from different experiences. There's a In my ears, I don't really hear the differences. I hear the similarities, and the similarities are artists that really draw from their souls in a very truthful way, and JP is absolutely one of those bright lights. So obviously, so is Guy Davis. Those, among many artists I get to play with, are people that have this unique, passionate, expressive, fascinating view on their life experience that they express through music, and that's what's identical in them, and that's why I can easily play with very different people, because those people are rooted in the same soul.
I call that unique and original. And if you and the truth is probably in the depth of where it comes from your soul. The more real it is to you, the more unique it is to the listener.
Exactly, exactly.
So, JP,
Uh-huh.
you started your musical career in metal. You're an avid study of gypsy jazz, and you tour as an American, I guess I should say, rock roots artist. Um, through the years of knowing you, it's been great watching you mold all your influences into your own unique style. Um, One of the major changes I've heard is your vocals. Did you
Wow.
take lessons, or did this happen naturally?
I think it. I didn't take lessons, but I think it happened somewhat naturally, and also somewhat from trial and error. You know, realizing certain keys work good. You know, certain keys work good for my voice. Certain keys, I realized, oh crap. You know, I recorded the song, and I went in the studio to try to sing it, and then I'm like, oh, it's kind of too low of the key, or it's too high. I can't really hit that note. So I think it's been a matter of kind of finding my comfort zone, and knowing the restraints of what I can do with my voice, and knowing the restraints and also the strengths of it. So I've kind of learned over the years, you know, what works for me and what doesn't, I guess. You know, but I'm still learning, always. You
And
know,
I think this gypsy jazz thing is what led to the project that brings you and Ann together, which is the Gypsy Jazz Blues Review, featuring you two and Jason Ricci.
uh-huh.
Um, how did that come to be?
Well, I mean, I've known Jason for a long time, and I've since probably 2000 or something, and I think Ann and I met in 2010 on the Blues Cruise, I believe it was, when
Yeah,
you were with Otis and Todd and everybody, and that's kind of where I first heard you play and got to, you know, got to witness what you do, which is amazing, and then we would wind up on some other festivals and blues cruises together, and then you'd sit in with us and stuff, and it was always just this magical chemistry and magical thing that would happen when you would come and sit in with us or something. And then I think where we all got together with Jason and stuff was the Blues Bender. What was it? I think it was
Yep.
2016. We were all
In 18. I think it was the one in 18, right?
Was it? Yeah, that's correct. That's right. It was the 2018. Right.
Yeah.
And we were all on the festival together, and you and Jason came and sat in on one of our main sets, and it was again magical and mind blowing, and the reaction from people and the response was just it was overwhelming, And I went home. I go, man, we gotta try and do something with this. So we contacted Dan and Jason, and what do you guys feel about doing this? And bam, there we go.
Yeah, and I remember it as you asked us to sit on like one song, and we refused to leave the stage because we were having too much fun.
Something like that. Yeah. Either you guys refused, or I was like, no, you can't leave yet. It was great, and it's a beautiful thing, and it's fun to just be sharing the stage with two very eccentric, captivating people such as yourself and Jason.
Well, I'm honored, JP, because I do remember the first time seeing and hearing you on that blues cruise, and just thinking that you have a truly unique sound and approach to what you're doing. I mean, and that's just not an easy thing to say. I mean, there are many fine, incredible musicians of all instruments, but guitar, particularly in the genre that we are floating in, is a tricky thing. I mean, thank God, I'm so glad I'm not a guitarist because there's first of all, there's so many incredible guitar players doing incredible things, and like any fine artist, after a certain point of technical excellence, the next bar that separates great artists from great technicians is what they're bringing that is unique, and ultimately that's defined by how they're able to access their own story, their own souls, their own experiences, and you do that in such a beautiful way. So besides being such a fun hang and friends with all the people I love, I was immediately captivated by your sound, because that is exactly what you do. And I've been a fan for ever since. So the opportunity to work with you has been just and Jason, it's really hard to explain the reaction we get, and the feeling we have as musicians with each other when we know it's all happening, and your band is I can't say enough about them either. Cleveland and Chris are like the foundation of that.
Yeah, and we've been playing together Chris and I have been playing together for 15 years almost now, and so we
love it.
Kind of read each other's mind. Cleveland's been with us for going on 5 years, and it's playing with the same core folks all the time. It definitely builds a certain chemistry, and you can kind of start to read each other's minds and stuff. So it helps for sure. Yeah, I'm blessed to have those guys. I'm going to meet those guys right now. We're heading to
I know. Yeah. I wish I was hanging out with you guys.
I know. We're hoping Chris Pete's going to bring you live. And by the way, JP, your vocals are coming in and out a little bit.
That's right.
So
but no, I think too. Like that's kind of I felt the same way when I first saw you, and I felt the same when I first saw Jason. Like this, just captivating. Like you have to stops you in your tracks, and you have to pay attention and listen, and it moves me. That's the best way I can describe it. When I hear you play and I hear Jason, it moves me, and I feel it, I get it, and I'm like, and just to get to be up there with you guys, and sharing the stage with y'all, and like like, wow, these awesome musicians are freaking, they're right here with me, and I respect them and they respect me, and it's a wonderful thing. It's a good feeling, as an artist. I mean,
Yeah,
that's for me, that's one of the, one of the things that I long for, is to be, to be respected by my peers and my colleagues and my fellow musicians and stuff, and to be
absolutely.
respected by the people that you respect. That's the greatest feeling in the world,
Absolutely. I agree 100%. It's truly a blessing, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
That's crazy to think it's been 15 years, JP, that you and Chris have been together. That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's nuts, and it just seems
You
like
guys have
yesterday.
lasted longer than most marriages, right?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
All the divorces we've had without the paperwork.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So, Anne, you're acting. I did see the video. I haven't seen the movie for The Musician. Um,
Okay.
it's a short film, correct?
Yes, it's a short film. It's only 10 minutes long. It's a short film that the director is Chicago based. Well, I think actually he recently moved, but has been Chicago based for quite a while. And I it just kind of fell into my lap because of he wrote the treatment and was looking for a musician. Originally, he was looking for a cellist to play this role, and a friend of his was like, "Hey, do you know this girl, Ann Harris?" And we showed him some of my game tapes, I guess. And he approached me and said, "Would you be interested in doing this film?" And I was blown away. And I think one of the things I'm most proud of, besides the fact that it's a very sweet film, and he's going to be, once it's done with the festival circuit, which will be pretty soon, I believe, he's going to be getting it into schools, because it's a really excellent little sweet story about a young girl who's homeless, who gets transformed by seeing a street musician who I play. So anyway, it was a fluke how it came to me, and one of the greatest honors about it happening was, besides the experience of it, was that they used my music. I suggested a couple of pieces of
Oh,
mine for the so I actually scored the film as well,
oh,
which is
wow.
pretty like cool.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
Wow. So, what other acting roles have you done?
I really haven't, yeah, I can't really say I've done much. I've been a touring musician for the last 15 years. And prior to that, the last 5, I was local in Chicago, playing in cover bands and corporate gigs. And so I did some theater when I was in high school and college. And I don't really have a theater resume, so to speak. I did a couple of things here in Chicago, but music has been my main, that's been my living and livelihood and my soul home for 20 years.
And I'm grateful for that. And I'm so grateful that you are no longer playing in cover bands.
Me too. If I have to play another like version of Devil Went Down to Georgia,
Right. Especially wedding band front.
yes, or Dave Matthews Band. No, I can't complain. Working in cover bands and doing weddings and corporate work, and I still do that kind of stuff to pay the bills when that work brings itself to me. But it was some of the best lessons in like disciplines, learning new catalogs quickly. My cover band days, when I were just like a huge important part of my musical education.
And I guess that's true. You either come up through the cover band side or you come up through the jam side where you're going to jams and playing.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
All the above.
and
and
all
I'm
of it.
thinking about that, JP, because you kind of did all of that.
Yeah, I never really
Um,
got to play in a cover band per se. I mean, I guess the
Yeah.
closest I came to that was probably, you know, doing some of the blues covers and stuff. But pretty much
Right.
all the metal bands and stuff were original things and stuff. But there's definitely, anytime I've learned a song, I always learn something. I learned some new little thing or some new way of
Yeah.
approach something. Like, God, I never would have thought of that in a million years. How come? And it could be the
Totally.
simplest thing. It could be the simplest little thing. You're like, holy cow, I can't believe that. So yeah.
That is
Yeah.
exactly why I used to look forward to the new Holmes Brothers CD, because you always knew there was going to be some magnificent cover, and I would always just put it on and walk away. And then you find yourself singing it and you're like, what song is this? And then you're like, wow, I can't believe they did that to that song.
Yeah.
They make a rock song a love ballad, and a love ballad a rock song. They just have this innate ability to completely redo things,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's when it's cool. Make it your
I
own.
agree. I
So
agree.
JP, you make and sell cigar boxes. Tell us the
Ye-
story about how that came to be.
Well, basically, I'll start from the beginning of it. And I'd never, back in like what was probably 2002 or three, I think it was, and it was some after jam at a blues festival, and I happened to be there hanging out, and this guy came in, Richard Johnston. He was from Memphis, Tennessee. He happened to be on the festival earlier in the day that day, but he came in and played at the jam. He got up on stage, told everyone, "Nah, go ahead and sit down." Plugged in his diddly bow, which was a cigar box guitar with two necks on it, and it had two outputs on it. So it basically had an output you could plug one output into a bass amp and plug the other one into a guitar amp. And he got up there with just that and sat behind the drums by himself and just created this most awesome groove and just stripped down just raw stuff, and I was blown away
So
by it.
cool.
That was my first experience of seeing and witnessing a cigar box guitar, diddly bow, so to speak. And fast forward to 2008, and I went up to Memphis to compete in the Blues Challenge, International Blues Challenge up there. And we didn't win that year or anything, but I happened to stumble across this guy, John Lobo, who was having a cigar box workshop. And he happened to be the guy that builds the cigar box guitars for this guy, Richard Johnston, that I'd seen play. So I go, holy cow, this is the guy that builds the one for this dude. So I said, let's go to this, I definitely got to go check this cigar box guitar workshop out. I want to go check this thing out. So we went, checked it out. It was cool. And he had some for sale. John Lowe had some of his cigar box guitars for sale. And the cheapest one he had was a 2-string one. So I was like, okay, well, I can, I can't really afford it, but I'm going to go ahead and get it anyways. So I went ahead and bought it and came home with it and just fell in love with it. And then showed it to my brother and my dad, who are carpenters, and showed it to them. And then they basically said, let's try to build one of these things. So we built, the first one we built is the one that I play all the time with. Just got the Razorback hog on it and stuff. And then so let's build one for a friend. I think the first one, someone said, hey, can you build one for Albert Castillo's birthday? So sure, yeah. So we built one for him, and then built one for Dave Shelley, and then just started slowly building them for friends and give them away and stuff. And then next thing I know, people start asking if they could buy them. So that kind of led into building them and selling them. So it's turned into a really, really neat little thing. It's kind of carried me through this whole quarantine pandemic thing of not working, just selling the cigar boxes online and stuff. You can actually order them right off my website, jpsoars.com. But no, it's a lot of fun. And I did a 20-minute instructional video that kind of shows you how to play it. And I think they're easy to play because it's only 2 strings, no frets, and that's it.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful. I mean, you should mention if you're listening to this, I recommend going to his website just to look at these. I mean, it's total total, they're beautiful and they're all unique. They're so, I mean, I'm just amazed by the craftsmanship,
Oh,
and of
thank you.
obviously they sound fantastic, but I love that they are all different. I'm going to interview you. Do you find that most people are ordering something they have in mind? Like, I want to get this for my brother and it's something maple or whatever, or do they see one that you did and they want one like that?
Well, they'll see one that I did, and they'll order one a lot of times. But
Yeah.
then what I'll do is when they order it, I'll send them like a picture of like 5 or 6 different ones, or maybe 10 different ones to choose from. Like, hey, pick out one that you
Okay.
like, And some people
Nice.
want them. Some people actually want them custom. They're like, hey, this is what this is what I want. I want it to look all old and weathered and stuff.
Right.
And so I've done a couple like that, which is fun. And what we're gonna do eventually is make the 1-string violin, the one that you showed me, the picture of that. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
let me tell you, I first started learning about the one string violin a long time ago, probably 20 years ago, when I started exploring Afropop music. And I worked regionally through a couple of different areas in Africa with my listening. And I think it was in my Malian phase, which is a forever phase. I'll never phase out of Malian music, but is when I first started hearing and seeing these one string violins. And they're all over Africa in many different countries with different names and different traditions behind them. But the sound is fascinating to me. And when I think this was a couple of weeks ago when I sent you that picture, I think I texted you the picture of the one string electric violin. I'm like, oh my God. I looked all over Chicago here and Chicago is an amazing market to find anything you want. I
Sure.
couldn't find a traditional one string violin or anyone
Wow.
or a teacher anywhere. So
Wow.
I need to find, if anyone's listening that can help refer me. I mean, I'm in a huge market here. I couldn't find a teacher. I could not find the instrument. And there's a lot of sacred traditions around that instrument. So we got to figure this out, JP, because
Yeah. I bet you'd pick it up. I bet you'd pick it up pretty quick. I mean, you'd probably, I imagine you'd be able to pick it up and make some sort of music on it immediately, being able to play the
that's what I'm
violin like
thinking.
And are they like a harmonica where each one would be a different tone? Are they, I mean, do they sound the same, or would it be like one would be high pitched, one would be low pitched? Is it an instrument that
what I do know about it is most of them are 2 strings, which is the reason but there are a lot of 1 string ones as well. I don't know what it's tuned to specifically. And again, what I'm going to need to do is do a little more research and find specifically the one that I'm trying to mimic. And that will be the one that has the most YouTube videos on how to play it, so I can learn.
Right. The beauty of YouTube. You can learn anything.
I know.
Yeah.
And then it's, funny how they have 1,000 different ways to tell you how to do it, which you're so thankful, because the first guy's way doesn't work for you. So then you got to go find the third girl, especially on a gardening front. I am just amazed. I'm like, okay, this is how we're going to plant it, honey. And we go out to the garden and then it dies. And then you're like, well, that's what they said to do. And I've paid for really good soil. So I know that no matter what happens to my plants, it's not the soil. That part
gardening. I mean, gardening is so much like music. I think that's why I really love gardening, because it's like, you can look at all the books and you can study all the stuff and do all the right steps, but at the end of the day, there's just this magical thing that happens or doesn't. And the song works or doesn't, the plants flourish or they wither, and it's it's a constantly changing game, and Mother Nature is the band leader, of course.
And you're still creating something from nothing, essentially, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Something from some little tiny seed
I know.
It's
provide this.
and
It's pretty amazing.
my new hassle right now is artichokes. I did not grow them from a seed. I bought them at the store and started having issues with them and learned that they are perennials.
Okay.
So I said, okay, we got to figure this out. And, I'm trying to grow them in a pot and they really don't like that. But I'm going to figure it out because eventually it'll have a spot in the yard. And they say that they grow like 36. I don't know if you'd call it a fruit because it's actually a flower.
Yeah, exactly.
But they, 36 artichokes. I couldn't eat all those if I've got 6 plants. So I want them to flower. I want them to become part of the landscape,
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's funny. They have issues with beetles and things that get into the dirt instead of on the plant.
Oh, okay.
So I learned yesterday that they say to take a saucer of beer and put it near your plant, and that keeps the bugs away.
What?
That's what I know. They say the same for slugs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. We don't drink beer in this house, but I'm going to get some.
Yeah.
If I could throw a party for the bugs, I will do that.
What happened to a little saucer of vodka out there for them?
Well, vodka does not work.
It's beer.
But I'll treat them to the vodka cranberry with a splash of lime.
Those slugs are real slow.
So, I'm assuming that all of you are writing new music. I assume when we come out of this period that there's going to be a lot of great music released. But I also know that the 3 of you, as the Gypsy Jazz, the Gypsy Blue Review, you guys are looking to release something?
Yeah. We recorded 4 songs, but we have with the accompanying video, and the video photographer is in the midst of editing and putting stuff together. So hopefully here real soon we'll be releasing one of the the first one.
And are you gonna release it as pressed or release online?
Probably both. Yeah, I think initially we will release it as press, and then once we've accumulated 10, 11 songs, then go ahead and commit it to a CD. Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because that this was my last tour before the lockdown, and during that week that we were on tour down in Florida, that's when the whole thing began. I mean, it didn't begin then, but the reality of the shutdown and what that would mean for all of us was slowly sinking in as we were on the road. Isn't that funny, JP?
Yeah,
thinking back to like the beginning of that week when we were just in a complete secluded, like self-seclusion, working on music for 2-3 days, just this great environment, but kind of watching the news and going, whoa, stuff's looking weird. Things are getting canceled. This is, and it was all. Whew.
Yeah, it was
March 13th. That was the day.
It was like a weird dream you couldn't wake up from almost.
I know. And I mean, I'm so thankful that my last tour was not my last tour forever, but my last tour before the shutdown was what we did, because I'm just I'm really looking forward to getting the songs we did, the EP we did, out into the world, because we made some beautiful music and had some great shows, and it was a nice, at least having that felt like, oh, we did something.
Right.
This is our last little chance for a while that we can all be together in this way.
And thank God we did it. We decided to get together and do that, and capture that little moment there. And we kind of had an idea of what was coming when we were recording that stuff. And I think that that anticipation is it. Kind of hear that in the music a little bit.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the last week I worked.
I think I'm getting going here on the phone here with
Yay!
Mike's working everything. You want to try and check it out, Tina?
Yeah. See if
Come
he
on,
can come in on
JP.
that link.
Do you see it?
No.
Tina?
You might have to press something that okays the audio and video.
Okay. Is Tina still
There's
there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Did we lose
Can
Tina?
No, can you hear me?
Is Tina there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear her fine. Can you hear me, JP?
Yeah, I hear you. I don't hear Tina though.
Can you hear me?
On still.
Are you on the other phone?
Coming through right now with Chris's phone.
There you are.
There we go. All right. Hey, there we go.
Awesome.
Hey, y'all can hang out with the whole band. David Frederick is in the back. Hey, we got a whole party here.
That's awesome. Woohoo! Yay, Christy.
Hey, this is the van that you did your last tour in.
I know.
Yeah. Back up the van. Yeah.
What's up, boys?
All right.
Oh, so where are you guys going? Where are you playing?
We're playing in Inglewood. Yep.
And what's his capacity?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's his
outside?
capacity?
What's that?
Do you know what his capacity is?
I'm not for sure, but it's probably about a half of what it normally would be. Yeah. Yeah.
So you guys are playing out inside then?
We're playing outside. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's outside. It's a little scary, it's a little iffy to be out there doing that, but I don't know.
That's what we do, though,
Yeah.
And
I would give
Are you ready to go back out there, Ann?
oh my God, I'm dying over here. I mean, honestly, I have been very busy. I've been doing a lot of string tracks for people's projects. So I've been doing studio work out of my home studio, which is such a blessing, such a gift. And I love doing that kind of work. And it started picking up in perfect timing to sort of save my ass, So if anyone out there needs string parts for their new project, that's what I've been doing. But, although I love studio work and it's important, there's nothing that can replace playing live for me. And so I can't wait till the climate is right and to be back out there,
Yeah, it is coming. I mean, obviously Florida's opened. Parts of Pennsylvania have opened. We've kind of opened. Our numbers are spiking, but we're open.
Yeah, that's kind of what's happening here.
Yeah, that's it.
You're seeing the numbers go back up, so it's a little scary.
Yeah, just keep the Lysol.
Yeah,
see what happens.
Hand sanitizer.
Yeah. I think the hardest thing, and this has been touched on by a lot of people, but the hardest thing for me, and you guys are out there now, so you might be able to speak to it more accurately since I haven't been out since my tour with you, but it's the physical contact with bands. I'm a hugger, and I don't know how I'm sure everyone is being very respectful, but have you felt like there's a situation where you're not quite comfortable, or someone's maybe had a couple of drinks and they want to just give you a hug?
Yeah, pretty much every situation. Yeah, pretty much every time we go out, you get those. Yeah.
Yeah, I
no
wondered.
one's really wearing. I mean, where we're going today, no one's really wearing masks and stuff. And, we're going to the west coast of Florida, and it's a little more
Okay.
relaxed over there. And they don't have the same high numbers like we have over here on the East Coast. So they're they're definitely more relaxed about the situation, which is kind of, I don't know, it's a little scary.
Are the club owners or the people that you've been performing for so far, are they putting up their wall of protection for you, just saying like, please keep respectful distance from the artists, we know you love them, we love them too, but they got to stay healthy for the next show? Or is there any support you're getting from?
For the most part, like the Funky Biscuits did a real fine job with that stuff. As far as the whole staffs, they're all wearing masks and stuff. And if there's a group of people kind of together, the manager will come up and say, "Hey guys, let's disperse a little bit." And so they've been doing a good job at it. But some other, some other places, it's like, they sometimes they act like nothing's really going on, and it's a little bit alarming, But
I think that I think the hard thing about this pandemic is like it's outlasting our attention spans as a nation. It's like we all feel like this should be old news.
Way to put
isn't it over?
Yes.
I mean, me included. It's like you feel like, well, we've been talking about this for so long, it must be done by now, and it's
right.
The reality is we're not sure exactly when it's going to be done and what done means, and it's none of that's been defined by anything. We're defining it right now, through living through this. So I certainly hope you guys stay as healthy as possible and safe as possible, and
Oh yeah, we're trying. I got my mask here, so I'll be wearing that later on.
And that's I mean, I guess as we move forward into you guys doing more shows, I guess that's the thing that you guys have to start gauging. Do you talk about how you're social distancing, or do you just do the gig and avoid the people? I mean, I don't know what that etiquette is, because it's a very personal thing, like JP said, to some it's not that big of a deal, to others, and I would put myself in that, it's a major fear. I don't leave my house. I go grocery shopping once a month, and I'm good with that. So it's so personal that, I mean, do you as an artist get through it? Do you talk about it? I mean, how, like you, Anne, you're a hugger. So if if people are used to that expression from you and they don't get that, I mean, do you as a hugger explain, or do you just do the gig and leave?
I don't know, because I haven't stepped out yet. I haven't had a live performance, and I've been performed since March. So I really don't know how I'm going to navigate that when I get back into it. And I think part of that is that responsibility is going to definitely have to rely on lean on the shoulders of the promoters, the club owners, the festival people, because they really set a precedent in terms of being able to say, we're going to have like a table for autographs, but please, if you come to that table, just make sure you're masked. Or, I mean, I don't know what the right thing is to say or how it should be, driven, but I think that it's got to be led by the promoters, because artists, you finish a show and you're just trying to tear down your gear, and you got no one around you helping you, and people coming at you. It's hard for us to be the mean guy and to say, back off, don't touch me, you could be sick, I could be sick.
Exactly.
I don't want to be the bad guy.
It puts you in an awkward, a bit of an awkward position, you know, as an artist to have to, do that thing yourself,
Yeah.
you know. And what I did was you know, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago we were playing on the west coast of Florida here, and you know, they're kind of like nonchalant about it, you know, a little too much. And
yeah,
and I waited to the end of the, you know, I waited for a while to go get paid, and as you know, crowd had pretty much dissipated. And as I was coming back from getting paid, you know, there was a group of people that wanted to say hello and, oh, you guys are great, and shake your hand and stuff. And I had my mask on, and I told the guy, I said, well, I'm not really shaking hands, you know. And I said, look, I said, I'm not wearing this for my protection. I said, I'm wearing this for you. I said, I'm coming from over on the east coast of Florida where the numbers are, you know, a lot higher. And I told him, I said, I don't know if I have it. You know, I said, I can have it. So I said, I'm wearing this mask for your protection, not necessarily for mine. So I think when you put it like that, it kind of, you know, flops it around a little bit. But it's just, I don't know. Everyone's got their own, you know, ideas about it. You know, some people are taking it very seriously. Some people think, oh, it's, you know, this is a bunch of bull crap. They're taking away our freedoms, and they're, you know, I don't know.
It is very personal. And with everything else happening in our world, it's all so personal right now.
Yeah.
But the irony of that is that it's also the opposite of personal. It's extremely communal. You know, when we're talking about, you know, the nature of the way that this virus came around, and the way that racial inequality is being is on the table as a discussion in a way that it's never been before. All of these things we all have a personal history and relationship with, but it's also very much a shared communal thing. And I mean, this is a point in time in history. We're living history. This is a very pivotal point of time where we're learning, or we're going to have to learn in some way, the connection among all of us as humanity, and the true illusion of separation. Because you know, the bottom line is a virus doesn't care how much money you have, or where you live, or what you look like. That's kind of like the great leveler, you know. It'd be that, and I mean, the next thing that will happen will be the alien invasion globally, where, you know, the spaceships are gonna like come, the aliens are gonna be like, hello, and then we're all gonna have to go, okay, this is ridiculous, humanity. We are truly
Cleveland is longing.
blessed to live on this planet.
Cleveland is longing for that day. I'm longing for that day. Just so all the bullshit can disappear, you know? That's
Exactly. Well, you know, I mean, that's kind of what a pandemic is about. It's this alien invasion, only it's an unseen force, and it's unpredictable, and it's, you know, mutating and changing constantly. And without everyone's participation level, you know, it's not going to just disappear on its own. It's going to play out in some way, and the severity of how it plays out is being determined by what we're doing right now. You know, I mean, I've been marching at some of the Black Lives Matters marches here in Chicago, and wearing my mask, and people are keeping but the marches I've attended have been so awesome. People are very respectful of space, and they're, for the most part, wearing masks. Not everyone, but you know, we're talking thousands and thousands of people, and I haven't been out of my house in 2 months, and that's how I step into it, you know. But it's crazy times.
It is crazy times, and I hope, you know, we can find some equality.
I've kind of, you know, some part of me's kind of enjoyed the quarantine and the break, for, you know, it's almost like a forced vacation or something almost. I haven't taken a break. I've been going nonstop for freaking 20 years, just
I know.
nonstop. I
Well,
can't remember the last time that a week went by where I didn't do a gig,
yeah,
and then it was like, a month, 2 months, and like, so it's good to kind of regroup and just kind of step back for a minute and stuff. And I've been
yeah,
writing songs and getting back to studying the guitar and learning, working on stuff. And I actually started taking lessons from from somebody. I've taken 2 lessons, and I'm gonna go take another one there next another week or so. So yeah, it's I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of rediscovering myself again, almost in a way.
yeah. I
You
love that. I feel
it's raining.
That's definitely what's
It's
been
raining
revelating is
Yeah.
is having time and space to think, like let the subconscious rise to the conscious, because it's been so deeply buried and no time for it. And that's been really revelating. You're planting in the garden and all of a sudden your next business plan just appears. And you're
yeah,
like, where did that come from?
yeah, totally.
And then just
And again,
really,
that
having those recognitions of how much time is wasted, even though you're so busy, how to redo busy more efficiently. That
Right.
that is what I'm looking forward to.
I agree with that 100%.
Another positive thing that come out of this for me is I've been eating real good. I've been eating at home and eating healthy, and I mean, I try to eat healthy anyways, but eating at home, solely. I mean, I can count on one hand the amount of times I've went out and eaten during this whole thing, and I've gotten so used to eating at home and cooking stuff the way I like it and eating real good, organic, healthy stuff. When I went to a restaurant where I go sometimes, or I go all the time. Actually, I went there a couple times, and I left, and my stomach just didn't feel right. And I think it's because I've gotten so used to eating all this good, healthy food and stuff that I make myself and prepare myself, and I know exactly what's in it. It's fresh, organic, and then I get used to that. My body's used to that, and then I go try to go eat out, and I'm like, this is not agreeing with me. So that's one positive thing to come out of it for me. It's just being able to get back to the basics, eat good, exercise.
That part has been awesome.
Are you still drinking the aloe vera juice like I recommended? JP?
I am, as well as the kombucha. Yes, I am, as well as the kombucha.
Yay, I'm so happy. Yeah.
So you drink it straight, or you mix it with something?
This is what I do, Tina, and I've been doing it for a long, long time, and it's an amazing elixir. First thing in the morning, first thing in the morning, I drink about a quart of water immediately right off the bat. But after I do a little bit of a workout, I mix a cup of kombucha and a cup of aloe vera juice. I actually do the gel because I like the filaments, organic, raw. You mix those together and you drink it on an empty stomach. And it's very supportive of your internal health, which is kind of the root for your overall health, is what's going on, the flora and fauna of your, intestinal tract. And it's an amazing combination. And you will find it will boost your immune system over time. It keeps you regular, and it restores the helpful bacteria to your intestine. That's what kombucha does, and aloe is a support of that.
I've tried it. I can't do it.
I read it's good. Yeah. I recently read a autobiography by Louis Armstrong, and one of the things he mentions in there frequently is maintaining regularity. Getting up every morning and doing your business. And, he talks about the very importance of that. Like that's the main. if that's not, you know, working properly and something that ain't nothing else gonna work right. You know?
It's true.
But he
It's true.
mentioned
I mean,
that
you could tell that we're you could tell our age by this conversation, you know. The only people that talk about the only people that are fascinated by poo conversations are like under 5 or, you know, over 30.
yeah, or over 50 in my case.
Or over 50. Oh my God. But it's true. The importance of eliminating toxins, and that eliminative process is imperative, you know, that it's working and you know, flushing
JP,
things out of your body.
Richard Johnson was present.
Yes.
You see his comment? Yep, that's nice. He was there. I hope he heard what you said about his talent and his cigar box.
That blew my mind, man.
Yeah, it's been a joy having you guys today. I look forward to getting out into my garden today, Ann, because that's what I'm going to do after this. Go solve my artichoke dilemma.
Speaking of gardens, we're about in the middle of the state right now. We're out here near Belle Glade, and if you look, I'm going to show you here. You can see the sugar cane fields over here. You see that?
Ooh.
Can you guys see that? That's all the sugar cane field.
Cool. Okay, yeah, I just.
But that's some of the richest soil in the United States right there.
Wow.
Very good stuff. Anyway.
Well, enjoy your drive.
Is that all? We're done?
Yeah, enjoy your
I got another 2 hours of driving.
Oh, we can talk for 2 more hours.
I know. I can. Let me get another cup of coffee, and I'll be babbling for another 2 or 3 hours.
Yay, Chris Pete! Thank you for your phone. That's
all right,
awesome.
you guys. Good to see you guys. Yeah, good to see you. Bye, you guys. Bye, Cleveland. Hey. All right, you guys. We'll see you. Love y'all.
Yeah,
love you so much. Thank you, Tina, for having us.
Thank you for being here. Thank you, guys.
Of course, love. Bye-bye. Stay healthy.
You too. Keep safe. Big hugs.
You got it.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Kombucha.
And that concludes this episode of the Gig Sessions. Thank you for joining us. We'll be taking next week off, and we'll be back the following Thursday. Take care. Be safe.